Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode here on Keep Running with BK. And this is going to be a month in review video for February 2021, which has been a crazy month of snow, sunshine, and everything in between. And so today we'll take a look at how the training went and what takeaways I have from the month of February right after this. So when you have months like this past February where you have crazy weather, it can be a real challenge to be consistent in your training, and you have to get creative and you have to find a way to dig deep and push through it to make it all happen. And so how did I do in that particular area in the month of February? So as you may recall, one of my goals this year is to run a total of 1,200 miles or more, which is roughly 100 miles a month. And I'm happy to report that I was consistent once again, and in the month of February I ran a total of 142.6 miles over 20 runs, which was an average of 7.13 miles per run, slightly more than the month of January. I would at least like to have 100 miles per month this year, and see if I can't do that consistently month after month as a real true example of consistency. One of the things that I thought about, last year I actually ran 700 miles over the last 6 months of the year, which I shared in my end of year recap. And I was curious, what was the fastest amount of time that I've ever gotten to 1,000 miles? And I believe I have to go all the way back to roughly 2008, and I think I did it in about 8 months. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to look back at the last 8 months just to see where I'm at. And I'm actually 30 miles shy. I'm like 970 miles for the past 8 months, which is just shy of that record that I set back in 2008. So if I continue my trend here, hopefully by the end of next month I can look at the last maybe 7.5 months at the rate that I'm running, and I may actually be able to set a new record there, which would be really, really exciting. With this consistency and with these 100-mile months stringing together, I'm really feeling comfortable and confident in how my running is going. Compared to the way this past decade has really gone, especially, I couldn't be happier. I really do attribute that to the MAF training. Really helping me to reestablish that solid base foundation conditioning. And I've now switched to an 80-20, where 80% is at MAF easy effort and 20% of hard efforts. So in January my main focus of speed work with the 80-20 rule was with repeats, and in February I really focused on intervals. Oftentimes that meant I was doing one interval workout during the week, and then what I was doing is I was including some interval efforts at the end of my long runs, just to get my legs used to continuing to turn over when they're tired, and just to help break up those really long runs at that very easy, slower pace. It can really wear on me. So that was just one way I could mix it up to keep it interesting and keep myself engaged and looking forward to the end of the run, and then really just seeing how I can push myself and seeing how that would go. Which kind of leads me then to, how has my 80-20 training been going, and have I seen any improvement? And I ran my end of month MAF test, where I'm running at as consistently as I can at my target MAF heart rate, and seeing how far I can run in an hour. And I ran 6.29 miles in 1 hour at in this particular case actually below my targeted MAF by 3 beats per minute. it was really cold, really dark, and it was really hard for me to kind of manage my watch, so I was just really trying to stay relaxed, run calm, and I also felt really good. I think the speed work has really been paying off, building up that strength, building up that endurance, helping my turnover. And I wanted to give you a little bit of update on injuries. So I had been doing some exercises a few times during the week to help address some Achilles tendinopathy, and that has gone really well. I'm at the point now where I'm really just in maintenance mode. I really don't feel any inflammation or tenderness at the insertion point, which was the goal. That was the hope when I got to this point in my training. But I'm going to maintain at least once a week doing these exercises, just so that I don't regress, and hopefully not have any other problems. I do feel some tenderness on the outside of my right knee, I think due to some tightness in my hip flexor and in my glutes on the right hand side. So I've been doing some foam rolling throughout the week. I've also been using a massage gun to really just kind of help loosen up that area, loosen up the quads, the hamstrings, and even a little bit on the IT band itself, more for comfort than I think just stretching it or anything like that. I think most of the benefit I'm going to get really from loosening up the glutes and loosening up my hip flexor, so that it doesn't have so much tension on my IT band, which then puts that tension on the knee. So I've already noticed a little bit of improvement. I do think I need another week or two to really see the full benefit of those exercises. Regarding my marathon training, I just completed phase 2 this month. I just finished my first week of phase 3, which is what I refer to as the heavy lifting, where I'm doing the bulk of my mileage. And I ran 38.7 miles this past week, and I felt really good. Felt really good about my long run, and I'm starting to do tempo or threshold runs in there for my speed work, which is less intense than the intervals, but for longer durations. And I'm really trying to really continue to develop that speed as the marathon approaches. So I'll do that for a few weeks. Probably for the rest of this month for sure, and then as I get into the last 6 weeks of my training next month and a little bit into May, then I'll probably focus more on marathon pace itself. So one of the other things that I was going to do that I mentioned in an earlier video in preparation for this phase 3 of my marathon training was to run a local segment, and I'll show that here on the screen. I've been really feeling good with my speed work, and I wanted to run this local segment that's a little over a mile long, see if I couldn't move my ranking from 3rd to 2nd. But more importantly, what I really wanted to do was kind of get what my mile race, or what I'm capable of running a really hard, almost racing a mile pace would be, so that I could look up in Jack Daniel's running formula book, where he's got tables. You can look up recent race efforts and use the charts in the book to determine what your pace will be for various speedwork type efforts. So I had been training for my repeats and intervals with what he calls a VDOT score of 42. And after running this local segment, I actually improved my time significantly, and I actually did move up to 2nd place on the leaderboard, which is really nice. But I also improved my VDOT score by 2 points. So I went from 42 to 44. And what that allows me to do is just to kind of gauge how I'm improving with my speed, and to ensure that I'm continuing to train at my hard efforts at an appropriate effort to continue to improve. So that makes my tempo and threshold runs, I believe, at a targeted 7:30 mile pace for this next phase of training. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that feels, and I'll report on that as well at the end of this upcoming month's video update. So what's next? What do I have to look forward to here for the month of March? Well, first off, I finally got to a point where it was time to get some new shoes. So I'm actually going to try the Saucony Ride 13s. I don't know that I've ever run in Sauconys before, but I did a bunch of research. I have been running in the Hoka One shoes. I've been running in the Clifton 7s, and I've done that for a while. I like them. They're comfortable, but I'm not convinced they're the right shoe for me yet. So I wanted to try something very similar. I'm going to try the Saucony and give that a go and see how that feels. So I'm going to gradually break that in. I'm going to kind of rotate between that and my Hokas, and then transition those probably to take me all the way up to the marathon, and that'll be the shoe that I'll run that race in. I also just got a Garmin heart rate monitor strap to wear to sync with my watch, just to give that a try. I have been having some inconsistencies with the wrist sensor. I'm not sure if that's due to the temperature changes, or maybe I'm thinning out and it's not getting close enough to the skin and getting the same type of reading. I really don't know, but I thought it was time to get one, see how that goes. So I'll be reporting on how that goes in next month's update. And then, I think the big thing is I'm just really looking forward to seeing how these 40-mile weeks that I have got planned for this coming month go. So that's a quick update I wanted to give you here on this week's video. Please subscribe, check out some of the other videos I've got on the channel. I did release a video on 5K running. I did provide one on some winter running challenges, although I think winter is probably behind us here in Ohio. Maybe not the temperatures, but I don't know that we're going to get the snow and the ice and that sort of thing. At least I'm hoping not the rest of this year. But spring is on the way, and I'm super excited about that. I'm definitely looking forward to I'm getting out and seeing more green and seeing more daylight, and sharing some more videos with you guys as the time comes. So again, thanks for checking out the channel, where I want to share with you insights from my own running, some training tips to help you to keep improving, and I just want to encourage you to stay motivated, stay safe, and keep running.